Daniel A. Graham is a self-respecting young man pursuing a master's degree in literature while also tutoring to make ends meet. His father constantly advises him to quit studying and find a job, often lecturing him about it. The main reason behind this pressure is his cousin, Matthew, who built his own business from nothing. Everyone holds Matthew up as an example for their sons. Matthew despises lies and values honesty. He also has a deep compassion for the poor. He goes in church every Sunday, frustrated by constant comparisons. Daniel often turns to his childhood friend, Johnny, to lift his spirits. Johnny suggests that Daniel take a job at one of his many restaurants, but Daniel skillfully dodges the offer. Seeing this, Johnny remarks, "You never take any advantage from me, but at least do me a favor, write me a letter. Use your magic with words so that whoever reads it becomes crazy about me." The next day, Daniel writes him a beautifully romantic letter. After some time, a highly influential man from Daniel's neighborhood, Anderson, requests him to tutor his daughter, Liana. As an advance payment, he hands Daniel some money. Overjoyed, Daniel gives the money to his father, thinking that at least this would put an end to his father's taunts. He was thrilled by this stroke of luck, unaware that this fleeting happiness would come at a heavy cost. Daniel began tutoring Liana regularly, and she was deeply impressed by his intelligence. Meanwhile, fate played a cruel trick. Johnny fell in love with Liana. One night, in secret, he climbed onto her rooftop to give her the very letter that Daniel had written for him. As Liana was reading the letter, her father, Anderson, caught her. He took the letter from her and began reading it. The handwriting seemed familiar. To confirm his suspicion, he took Liana's notebook and compared the writing. His doubts turned out to be true. It was Daniel's handwriting. Enraged, Anderson stormed to Daniel's house and told his father everything. Furious, he lashed out at Daniel, scolding him harshly. But he didn't stop there. He went to every household where Daniel tutored and exposed the incident, ensuring that no one would allow their daughters to study with him anymore. Daniel's life falls apart. The entire society boycotts him, and even Matthew expresses his disappointment, saying he never expected such behavior from him. Matthew also warns the other boys in the neighborhood to stay away from Daniel. Devastated, Daniel confronts Johnny in anger, accusing him of ruining his reputation and making him unworthy of facing anyone. Johnny, deeply ashamed, apologizes, saying he had no idea Daniel was tutoring Liana. Otherwise, he would never have used his handwriting for the letter. Johnny then shares two things that have been troubling him ever since. First, when he threw the letter onto Liana's rooftop, she saw him doing it. So why didn't she tell her father that it wasn't Daniel but Johnny who wrote the letter? Second, when he went to deliver the letter, he saw Liana bidding farewell to someone. Daniel, skeptical, accuses Johnny of lying. But Johnny insists he's telling the truth. There was definitely someone else with Liana that night. Daniel is determined to solve the mystery. If Liana saw Johnny throwing the letter, why didn't she tell her father the truth? For a week, he waits outside Liana's college, hoping to confront her. Finally, one day, he spots her and begins following her, waiting for the right moment to talk to her alone. Unexpectedly, Liana enters a restaurant and disappears inside. Daniel follows her, and what he sees at a table leaves him in complete shock. Liana and Matthew, sitting together, laughing and enjoying each other's company. When they notice Daniel, they look startled for a moment but quickly regain their composure and invite him to sit with them. Liana speaks first. "We're sorry that we sacrificed you for our love, but fate gave us an opportunity, and we took advantage of it. When my father found Johnny's letter and recognized your handwriting, we came up with a plan. If my father suspected I was involved, he would never let me marry someone poor like you. But because of my involvement, he would rush to get me married to the first suitable proposal that came along, out of fear of dishonor." She continues, "Matthew may not be as rich as my father would prefer, but he's still a much better option than you. Look, it's not our fault. Fate presented us with an opportunity, and we simply made use of it." Daniel smiles, realizing that his existence, though worthless to himself, has at least benefited someone else. Without saying another word, he gets up and walks away. But the story isn't over yet. Karma plays its role in an unexpected way. Unbeknownst to Liana and Matthew, someone else is also listening to their conversation. Fate has placed them in a restaurant that belongs to none other than Johnny himself. And at that very moment, Johnny is present, silently overhearing every word. As he listens, he realizes that Liana and Matthew had a clever plan, but now, he decides to turn it to his advantage. He thinks to himself, if Liana's father prefers Matthew over Daniel just because Matthew is wealthier, then how can he reject my proposal? After all, I'm even richer than Matthew. With a smirk, Johnny sees a perfect opportunity. He will not only avenge his friend's insult but also secure his love forever. Exactly after 2 months Johnny and Liana got married.